Hey beauties, it's Riri. Today's video I'm going to be demoing the ALAMAR Cosmetics Nude Exotica palette. I asked you guys in my Boxy Charm unboxing. I'll pop it right here for y'all. If you guys wanted to see a look with this palette, and several of you said yes, so I'm going to be creating a look using the palette today. I did say in my unboxing that I really like that even though this is a kind of more simple, basic, neutral leaning palette, it's got a little extra something to it. If you're not new here, then you know that when I talk about, neutral leaning palettes, I'll generally kind of pass on them and they're not always my favorite. They're not something that really excites me. But because the shimmer formula is a little bit more elevated than kind of a standard shimmer or like a satin, which is kind of my complaint in a lot of neutral leaning palettes, I think I'm gonna like it. So I'm quickly going to prime my lids. We'll do some swatches and stuff like that, and then we will create a quick look. I'm going in with my Alter Ego eyeshadow base, as I always do. I did purchase this, but I do have an affiliated code with Alter Ego. It is Riri10 for 10% off, and they do occasionally send me PR. But I am somebody that if I'm looking at a neutral leaning palette, I will also try to link my video for the recent Lancome video that I did. And I feel like a lot of people think that I was kind of talking trash about that palette. I was not. It's a beautiful palette for what it is. I am somebody that I'm all for neutrals. I'm all for kind of an everyday, basic neutrals palette. I think we all need a couple of those in our arsenal, our makeup arsenal, if you will. But in that particular palette, and in a lot of more neutral leaning palettes that I kind of receive or that I've purchased or whatever the case may be, if the shimmer formula is not kind of what I like in it, then it's not something I'm going to reach to. Whereas I feel like this one, even with like the Patrick Ta one I recently tried, because the shimmers are elevated and the mattes are so good, it makes me kind of, it does draw me to those particular palettes. So I will go in with the shimmer formula first. They're not like super glass-like and very, very smooth, but just because these have that little bit of added extra sparkle, the way that they smooth out upon application on the hand anyway, and because there's that little bit of kind of flip, a little bit of like a duochromeness to a couple of these, in my opinion, it just makes them, more of what I'm kind of looking for in a, a shimmer formula. And I say this all the time because I like bells and whistles, because I am an indie brand makeup lover and I like the special, shifty, sparkly, all the yumminess. I know not everybody does. So I like this. I think that this is going to appeal to people like me that kind of want the bells and the whistles. They want something a little bit more special, if you will, while still also being kind of a standard neutral leaning palette. And I'm definitely a fan of ALAMAR Cosmetics. I've not tried a ton from the brand, but the products that I have tried, I have liked a lot. So I think that they have good quality products. All right. I think today, I generally work from dark to light. For today, I'll work from light to dark and just kind of build up the look. These are quite powdery in the pan. That does not bother me. I note it for you guys. I'm gonna sweep this right at the brow bone. You could set the entire lid with this shade as well. It's just gonna kind of give me just a little bit of brightness right underneath the brow bone. If you are someone that has trouble in blending and stuff as well, you could set the entire lid with this shade and it's gonna make blending everything else a little bit easier. My thing with that, the reason I don't set my whole lid is because more specifically kind of down here and in my like outer corner area, I really like to pack a punch there, and I feel like if I have set my lid, I'm not really able to get like full opacity like I like, or kind of full pigment like I like. Next up, and I'm just gonna move down the line, same exact brush. Again, it's a little bit more kick-uppy, but that is okay. I'm coming down slightly lower than where I left off with that bone shade or that nudie shade. And if I were working kind of as I generally do from dark to light, I literally just do the exact same thing but in the opposite order, so you could also do it in that manner as well. Not having any issues. I feel like what I'm seeing in the pan is true to color when I apply it to the lid. And this is just generally an idea to kind of give you an idea you know, if you get this in your box or something like that and you're like, oh, you know, maybe that's not really my cup of tea, you know, maybe you are somebody like me and you're like, I kind of want a little bit more, maybe this can kind of give you an idea of what to do and maybe what the palette can bring to your collection. And it's not ever that I'm like against, you know, like more neutral leaning or natural softer palettes. I'm definitely not. Like I said, I think we all need a few of them. And like literally the Nomad Air palette, these like neutral one that they brought out, I take that every time I go somewhere. So it's not that I don't like neutral leaning palettes. It's more so the shimmer formula. I am not always a fan of kind of a standard shimmer, if you will, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, they've been making them for years, years and years and years and years. It's more just because I do have that affection for indie brands, so I'm used to just a little bit more with like shimmer and like, so I'm used to more with shimmer formulas. Again, we do not have to have the bells and the whistles. That is just something that I have a preference for. All right, so far with just the first two shades, I'm able to build. They're layering beautifully. I love this like pinky mauvey shade. That's so pretty. And I like too that like there's some depth here, which I also appreciate, and there's something for my inner corner, which I also appreciate. So, I mean, this, as far as like a natural leaning, neutral leaning palette, I think it's great. I think it's beautiful, and hopefully it performs as well. I think it will. But even when I look at this, I literally can do this shade and then put that all over the lid, put that on the inner corner if I wanted to. If I wanted to go very, very soft and muted, I could put this down, put this in my crease, and do any of these shades. If I wanted to amp it up a little bit, I like the concept of the palette. I think it's beautiful. Now from here, same exact brush, going slightly lower, and I'm gonna rock that in the actual crease, kind of meeting that pink shade. And this is one, I feel like maybe one of the main reasons that I used to go from light to dark for pretty much most of my life, honestly, is because it kind of lends itself to being a little bit more beginner friendly, if you will. And in saying that, if you're going from light to dark, you can literally use one brush for the entire makeup application. And not to say that if you're starting dark, you can't like tap the brush off. I always keep a towel right here, and I always have my ancient, the crayon case, brush cleaner right here beside me as well. So, I mean, you can tap it off and still use that same exact brush, but just kind of this particular style of makeup application, you know, going light to dark, it just lends itself to being a little bit easier, a little bit more beginner friendly. And I think that's something else too. You know, I think we oftentimes kind of get caught up in like overconsumption and, you know, so-and-so has this, so I need to have this, or, you know, this person has such a large collection of this, so maybe I do too. We do not. You do not need anything. I do not need anything. We do not need any of this stuff, you guys. Is it fun? Is it, you know, fun to play with makeup and stuff like that? Is it fun to have all the pretty things? Sure, of course. But truthfully, if I did not do makeup on other people or if I did not receive subscription boxes, I would not have the brush collection that I have. And I am all for having a like more small, kind of thoughtfully curated collection. I think if you have like one really, really good brush set, and then a couple of additional, you know, like maybe 2 or 3 blending brushes, 2 or 3 inner corner brushes, just so that, you know, when your brushes are dirty and you don't feel like cleaning them, you ain't got to. But this notion of like, you know, we have to have 15 brushes for one eye look, we do not. You guys will literally see I'm using the exact same brush, and I'm also changing the position of my hands on the actual brush. If I'm holding my brush way down here, you can see that it's gonna offer a little bit of a lighter hand. I'm gonna be able to kind of fluff my edges and stuff like that. If I'm coming way down here, I'm able to kind of really get in here and make it a little bit more opaque, if that makes any sense, and really kind of intensify it. So you will see that throughout my makeup applications, whether or not, you know, I'm using this type of a brush, whether I'm going light to dark or dark to light. I think also changing your brush, if you're in the middle of a blending process and you're like, oh, this is just not blending, it's not looking good, it's looking muddy or patchy, I think sometimes we equate that, or we kind of instantly equate that to, oh, it's a crappy eyeshadow formula, when it could be your brush. So change your primers, change your brushes, change the position of your brushes. Like for instance, if you know, I was looking at this shade, or you were looking at the shade and you're like, that is way too deep, I could never ever use that. If you go in with an open fluffy brush, you barely pick up any, tap it off, and then go in with your hand way down here, you will get a very light dusting of that shade versus full pigment. For me, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna hold it at the bottom. I'm gonna pick some up. Like I said, these are quite pigmented. And now from here, just on the outer corner here, I really want to pack a punch with this shade, so I am going to really try to reach pan color, and I'm going to come about halfway over. So far, in my opinion, it looks really nice. Everything is blending beautifully, and as much kick up as I'm getting in the pan, I do not have anything on my actual skin, and I will get up close just to kind of show you. And it's not like an aggressive amount. I know that, you know, fallout bothers some people. It does not bother me. Now, if this was, you know, $100 palette and the fallout was so much that it was literally falling all over my face, it was dusting and flaking all over my area and stuff like that, maybe it would piss me off a little bit. But yeah, I don't mind fallout at all. I also don't mind, you know, like layering and having to build and blend and stuff like that. I'm tapping the brush off, holding it at the very end of the brush, and I am just very lightly going to feather these edges. Y'all, this looks like Neapolitan ice cream, and I'm here for it. Do you like Neapolitan ice cream? What is your favorite flavor of ice cream? Are you not an ice cream fan? I'm curious. And are you somebody that eats ice cream kind of year-round? Is it kind of like your go-to? I'd like to know. All right, now I'm gonna go in with my, drop that on the floor, hold please. As I was saying, I'm gonna go in with my glitter primer from Gourmande Girls. I did purchase this myself. It is my favorite one of all time. I do have an affiliated code with her though. It's RERE10 for 10% off. And the reason that I love it so much is because of the texture and consistency. It feels like a very thin serum upon first application. It does not disrupt the mattes underneath. And it is tacky and sticky without being gloopy or being too much. And what I mean by that is like, it's not sticking my lids together. If I go in with like more flaky shades, it's not kind of crumbling on top of it and like really grabbing onto it. It's perfect in my opinione. I think I'm gonna go here. And it's one of those kind of pretty like bluey taupey shades. I love these types of shades. I'm gonna focus that kind of right here on the ball of the eye. And save some room on the inner corner. Ooh, pretty. I might have picked up too much. It is getting a little flaky. And as you guys can see, just like I was saying, like when I swatched these, there's a little bit of like kind of texture to them, and or they do kind of feel like a traditional satin, even though they're not, obviously. I mean, this is a duochrome, but when it's applied to the lid, it looks so smooth and so beautiful and sparkly. And that's what I love. Oh my goodness, that is so beautiful. And I am a fan of just using my fingers. I feel like I get the best bang for my buck, but do whatever makes you feel like the best version of yourself, whatever your method is, that's totally fine. And then I think I'm gonna go right here. And this is like one of those beautiful iridescent shades that I love. Whoa, that I love. It's unassuming and just looks white. And as you can see, it's this beautiful like fuchsia hot pink. I love that. And I love the addition of kind of having a little bit more kind of pinky tones to kind of have this in there. And I think browns and pink, like pinks with brown eyes specifically, but pink and brown together, they look stunning together. I also love that I can use this as a highlighter. I can use it on the inner corner. I can use it on the brow bone. Oh yes, that is beautiful. Ooh, 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 ooh. And then I'm gonna go into a small brush, but it's kind of a flimsy brush, but it's also cut unevenly. So it's got a little bit of grip to it, so it picks these types of shades up beautifully. I am going to flick this on the inner corner and then flick it up some. That is my preference because I do have hooded lids. I really like to keep this part of my eye kind of light, bright, open. And then when I kind of meet the other shades with that inner corner shade, it just, in my opinion, just makes it look a little bit more cohesive, a little bit more put together. I could also pick up a little bit of this and then spray the brush and really get super like in your face impactful. You could go in with a silicone applicator. You can go in with an old school eyeshadow sponge, whatever is your preference. Ooh, y'all, that is beautiful. And then I'm gonna very softly meet these two shades just so I have a nice blend. Ooh! And do the same thing, pick up a tiny bit of that, put it right at the very top of my brow bone. Yeah, this is stunning. This is what I like. This is what I want in a neutral palette. I'm also gonna go ahead and go in and use that as high, or should we use this one as highlight? Let me see how dark that would be. Ooh. That might be too dark for me as a highlight, but if you have deeper skin than me, I think that could be beautiful. Just pick up and do less is more approach. So I'm gonna try this one as highlight. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. Ooh. Yeah, I knew I would like this. And I always kind of meet, you know, my highlight shade to my eye look. Again, I like to have something that's very cohesive. Let me pop on some mascara. I will get up close and show you guys what this looks like. All right, here's our finished look. And that is it. That is my look using the ALAMAR Cosmetics Nude Exotica palette. I love it. I figured that I would, and I'm glad you guys wanted to see a look. I love this. This is what I want to see in a nude palette, a neutral leaning palette. And I know not everybody wants that, but I do like that I have something very light. I can blend the other shades with this, and it also does go very deep so that I can have something deeper for my outer corner. And I love the blend of the mattes to the shimmer formula. And I like that the shimmer formula is shimmers elevated just a little bit, the way that I like the shifts in these is absolutely beautiful. Yeah, I am impressed. I think it's absolutely stunning. What do you guys think? Comment down below. Let's have that conversation. Are you familiar with ALAMAR Cosmetics? And what are your favorite neutral nude leaning palettes? I would like to know. I'm on the road to 10,000 subscribers this year, and I can only do that with your help. So if you do see this and you're not yet subscribed, please consider subscribing and give the video a thumbs up. You can also hype up this video. You can turn on notifications so you never miss one of my uploads. And there's a join button down below you can click to become a channel member for some exclusive perks. I love you all. Stay happy, healthy, and safe. And of course, be your own best beautiful. Bye, beauties!